Executive Governor of Katsina State is here on a friendly visit. And also, may I respectfully invite you,
the Executive Governor of Katsina State, on your maiden visit. I understand your last visit to this place was when you were the chair of the House Committee on Water Resources in 2002. So he's a member of the water family. And of course, he's an old water engineer, so he's very much at home here. We're very happy to have you here. I know this meeting was at your instance, so we're glad to hear from you. But after that, Your Excellency, we also have the habit of, we are specialists in dam construction, and we stop water, we harvest it. So we're going to harvest your visit to discuss some aspects of what we are doing with respect to sanitation. So I'd like to, first of all, I think this meeting will be in two segments: our campaign on water, sanitation and hygiene, especially with respect to our efforts to fight open defecation in the country. So I'm saying this because I don't want to breach protocol. Once we finish the main business of the day, concerning your visit, I would like us to dovetail into that, Your Excellency, and I'll have to take the microphone again. So, Excellency, we're all ears. Thank you.
Water Resources. Come and say big thank you. Your personal commitment to completion of Sbke Dam, also completion of Sbke Dam, which is currently ongoing, which we expect by the end of the year we will have completed. And also Jari Dam in Bakoro local government, which currently we are paying compensation for the work to resume under normal conditions. Really, for anything, Katsina, we need not to come here. But our coming here is to show our appreciation to you personally as a person, and to you as a Minister of Water Resources. Because before you have been ministers, and we have tried to see how we can take Sbke and Sbke Dam to the next level, but it was impossible. But we are happy that these two major projects in Katsina, one is completed and has been handed over to the state, and I also believe this one will be completed and be handed over to the state. And also to advocate for more support in the area of Sbke urban and urban such water supply projects under Wash Action Plan, which I do believe is ongoing, and also advocate for a special matching grant in water, sanitation and the hygienic program in the rural areas in the state under P-Wash, and I think it's also part of what you said we were going to discuss. And an issue came up today, and I was glad it came when we visited French, yes, under the water supply programs in Nigeria. We raised an issue with them, which we were advised by the Federal Ministry of Finance to raise with them, the issue of completion Part 1B of Sbke, that is taking water from Dusama to Kankia local government and to Challenge, which was part of the initial plan of Sbke water supply. And they welcome the idea that they are They do participate, but all their programs are tied to federal Ministry of Water Resources. So they are willing to listen to us, provided we have the support from the Federal Ministry of Water Resources. If not because I was afraid that they would suspect something, I would have said it's given. But I couldn't say so because they will be wondering why the IC is given. But I said, since we are coming here, when we left to come here, this was not part of what we were coming to do, but it just came to us that if we discuss with you, talk to you, maybe under your action plan or programs under the French Development Assistance, we can see what they can do. You know, why we are seeking for external intervention in order to complete the phase 1 and B, phase 1B of the project. You know, the paucity of funds and even the projection of next year's budget, the price of food and production and what is happening in OPEC clearly show that even if we are able to maintain the price, to maintain the output, the projection cannot be as much as last year, this year. So even this year, you heard what the president was saying, that up to June, the revenue collection was only 58%. So you can safely say, without the borrowing, the budget will only be implemented at the level of revenue, because you cannot spend what you don't have. So obviously, that is putting a lot of pressure on what the states are getting, especially those states whose internal revenue base so far is weak. We are trying to establish new opportunities, build the infrastructure that will make internal generated revenue available in such significant amount that will impact positively. But without the necessary infrastructure, rated revenue becomes an impossible task. And again, we have a challenge, which is, we consider it a challenge to Nigeria, but it's a challenge to us directly, the issue of this banditry, kidnapping, rape, and cattle rustling. Why I say it's a Nigerian problem? Because the problem cuts across beyond Nigeria. We have herders moving right from Guinea-Conakry, through Mali, through Niger, into various entry points into Nigeria. And some of the bandits are not Nigerians, are Nigerians, some from Mali. As I'm talking to, I do believe there are people and officials of Nigerian government that are still in Libya discussing on ways of how to really dialogue with the bandits so that they can go back to their country of origin, that is Niger. Otherwise, they will continue to be a nuisance to us. We have thousands of villages inside the forest, which I was able to go to the forest and met the bandits, their leaders, their commanders, and they raised fundamental issues that systematically for over 30 years, nobody had even given a thought of what to do to herders. They lack education completely, both Islamic and Western education. They said it's zero. Then the cattle routes have been overtaken by grazing and farming. They have no grazing area. They have no schools, particularly no schools, no clinics. Their population is growing in the forest, and we have not taken We don't care, nobody cares, and for them, they cannot even move from one village to another without going into farmlands of other people. That way, they cannot even use the third road because farmers have farmed out to the edge of the third road. So even the shoulders of the roads, the embankment of roads that they used to follow, have been cultivated. So we saw the anger and the frustration, especially from the older generation, that they are raising children that cannot read, cannot write. Their behavior is worse than that of animals, because animals don't know how to handle AK-47, AK-49, or rocket launchers, machine guns. But these people, at the age of 12, we saw them, 14, 15, they can dismember, disable, and assemble AK-47 in minutes. And because they lack the education, any form of education, if you tell them out to death, they don't care. You tell them there will be another life after this, they don't know, and they don't believe, and they don't care. Because nobody has gone and come back to tell the story. So all the resources we have now, we are going to pour it into providing these basic necessities in the forest communities. Otherwise, if we leave this opportunity, what comes out may be more than what we have today. And along the line, criminals have found accommodation. International criminals, gunmen from Libya into Mali, into Niger, into Nigeria. So you could see what we are. That's why I say it is a Nigerian problem. Because if we don't control them there, from Katsina and Zamfara they move to Kaduna and Niger. And from there they move to southeast, southwest. And from there they go to outside Nigeria. Because the forest area from Guinea-Conakry, if you follow it, you can go down to Central Africa. Through that cattle route. Today you go to Central African Republic, you will meet Nigerian herdsmen. They are there. So I just have given you a brief background to what we are dealing with. That's why we have to come in cup in hand to all our development partners and our mother ministry in terms of water and what we can do, to come here and seek for their support, assistance. And we know he has been doing it. Actually, the only thing we can say is thank you to our big brother here. And also what I have forgotten to thank you on is also the issue of the larger income. Really, this man, I don't want the other people to accuse you of really, we are very appreciative and very thankful. As you see me, I'm very conservative. I hardly go to places. So when I come here, it means a lot because I don't think I've been to any ministry. So I'm a very conservative person. Even when I was speaker, I have never been here. But for him, really, if we don't come here to appreciate him, then I don't think one will be next. Also, the Honourable Minister and the directing staff of the ministry, thank you. And
a encompassing speech, which had opened windows to various. I will also fully invite you for your response.
For favoritism, I think it's apt because I'm also a son of the soil. Of course, you know my mother is from Katsina State, but that's not the main reason. I also recall during our CPC days when I was contesting for National Vice Chairman Northwest, for some reason my own state rejected my candidature and I was adopted by Katsina State. So in Eagle Square, I sat the whole night in Katsina State Pavilion. So, but of course, Katsina is among the frontline states, all the Sahelian region where there is a serious issue of water. And if we are really talking seriously about water resources and management of water resources, Katsina is one state that we must address. And also the fact that a lot of the projects that we inherited had reached a very advanced stage, and we felt that it was important to complete them. I'm very, very happy to have supported all the efforts of getting the projects completed in Katsina State, and we'll continue to work on it. We're also working on the irrigation project of Sbke. We are scoping it because of water balance issues and also soil concerns. Of course, in Delaji and Jeredam, we're working on them, and I'm very happy to hear that finally we're getting to the point where compensation will be paid so that the project can make a lot of progress. We have a bit of a challenge on Sbke, this water storage. We're studying the situation. I'm happy you mentioned it because one of the key issues that we realize is affecting Sbke is the fact that there are 2 other dams upstream constructed by Katsina State and without outlets and so on. And of course, with climate change and other issues have also come to play. So we'll be coming back to the state government to work together to see that we try to solve this problem or alleviate the problem of the lack of adequate storage, because it is going to have serious effect on the irrigation in that area. So we're taking it very seriously. We're also working with Sokoto Rima to ensure that the irrigation facility starts working, that farmers begin to cultivate, hopefully during this dry season, so that we can begin to enjoy the benefits of that scheme. And I'd also like to inform you that although we have handed over Dusi and Mashi to the state government, we're also looking at the possibility of converting the schemes into solar for you, so that you solve the problem of supply of diesel, so that we can make the schemes more sustainable. As an additional value added by the Federal Ministry of Water Resources, we are looking at providing solar power to those 2 schemes in Dusi and Mashi. Of course, a flagship program for us is the Sbke Water Supply Project, and I'm happy to inform Your Excellency that hopefully by the end of this year, our own component of the project would have been completed. I hope that we are working on the distribution network, the Katsina multi-state, so that everything fuses in. We don't have to wait again until some other time before we're able to get to provide the much needed water in Katsina. I've been informed that you'll be working we supplied water twice to test the distribution network, and I understand all the hotspots were identified, and we are working on them. And let me say, I'm very happy that you were proactive. You went to the French Development Agency on this phase 2. And I assure you, Your Excellency, that the ministry will do everything on its part to ensure that we facilitate the need for you to leverage on the facilities available from the African Development and wherever, the French Development Agency and wherever else that you think you need it. And let me also sympathize and appreciate the situation, the security situation in the state and the efforts you are making. Your statement has been I'm sure has been enlightening for all of us, because a lot of people still don't understand why these things are happening. Because we were in the cities, we think everything is okay. But it's only now that the cities or we, the elite, are being threatened that we're beginning to ask the questions. And this is, again, typically in Nigeria, we tend to throw things, shove things under the carpet or just dismiss that this is a problem for Katsina or this is a problem for Zamfara. This is a problem for Nigeria, because even if you are from a certain corner of the country, if you have relations or you have children that are studying in other places, and you have cause from time to time to move from one location to another. We have the National Water Resources Institute, for instance, in Kaduna. The directors here, one day or the other, Mrs. Ophir from Delta, you will be compelled one time to travel to Kaduna to go to Water Resources Institute, and these are very, very important things. So, Excellency, I want to reassure you that whatever we can do, the ongoing projects and whatever else that we can do to support Katsina State, we're willing and ready at all times to do the best we can. Let you take that commitment from me and from the directors, in case I'm reshuffled. So thank you, Excellency, and Excellency, I also, like I said, presentation. I had already earlier written a letter to you that we're going to come to Katsina on advocacy visit, but since you are here, I thought that it might help us and save us because we have to visit all the 36 states. So if we're able to catch some of you in Abuja, we're very happy. It will save us some money in terms of travel costs and so on. Your Excellency would recall that the President on 8th November 2018 declared a national state of emergency on water and sanitation and launched the Water, Sanitation and Hygiene Action Plan. Before then, when I came into office in 2015, I asked the question, why is it that we are not able to meet the Millennium Development Goals? And we realized that there are quite a number of factors. And so we tried to find some solutions. One of the solutions was we created the PWASH program, which you mentioned, the Partnership for Expanded Water Supply, Sanitation and Hygiene. 24 states have keyed into the program. We're on pilot stage, but we're going to step it up very soon. Of course, we have budgetary challenges, but we'll still try to see what we can do. So far, the pilot project was done in Kano and Ogun states, and now we want to step up. This program was launched in November 2016 by the Vice President. Following that, we continued because we've also been collecting a lot of data on states and the Federation as well, state by state, region by region on water and sanitation. We're able to accumulate data and to see how good or how bad we've been doing. And it appears from the information we have that if we don't step up, we are not likely to meet the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. So there has to be concerted effort in that respect. And in view of that, we worked with our development partners to now bring about the National WASH Action Plan, which was launched by the President, as I mentioned earlier. And in that WASH Action Plan, there are commitments on the part of the federal government, and there are commitments that the states need to do. As part of the process of enhancing water, sanitation and hygiene also, we launched in 2016 or 2017 a roadmap for making Nigeria open defecation free by 2025. Your Excellency, Nigeria ranks number 2 in the world, number 1 in Africa among countries that practice open defecation. 47 million people in Nigeria practice open defecation. There are still communities that culturally don't think that they need to build a toilet around them. And of course, we see even in our cities, in motor parks, around mosques and churches and markets, people get pressed and just find a small corner and just do their business and go on. This is a national disgrace, and this is a very, very bad practice and a healthy practice that must stop. And it's part of the commitment of Sustainable Development Goal 6.2 that we should eradicate all forms of open defecation and improve sanitation, make sure every Nigerian has access to adequate sanitation by the year 2030. Of course, Goal 6.1 says we must have access to potable water to all, 100% of the population by 2030. So, The President, Commander-in-Chief, has approved in Council for a new campaign against open defecation. And this campaign is going to be launched. There's going to be a national launch by the President on the 19th of November of this year. 19th of November is designated by the United Nations as the World Toilet Day to, further emphasize the importance of sanitation to all. So the President is going to do the formal luncheon, and we are going to send an invitation. We would appreciate that all state governors also come to this luncheon in Abuja and to make a commitment towards eradicating open defecation practice by the year 2025. In the WASH action plan, like I said, there are some specific actions that states and the federal government need to do. One of these for states is for states also to declare a state of emergency. I think 7 or 8 states have done that. The last one, the recent one being Jigawa State yesterday, where we paid an advocacy visit there. And then states are also required, because we want to do a community approach and a carrot and stick approach. So it's important that people be made to understand that even the practice of open defecation is illegal, because it is infringing on the rights of others. It's contagious. It can lead to so many diseases and so on. So we're also recommending that states should also do a legislation against open defecation. Masari State has done it. Ekiti State has also done it. Ondo State is on the way. And even yesterday, the governor of Jigawa State directed the Attorney General of the state to work in that direction. So appreciate every effort by our governors and their spouses, if possible, to support this campaign against open defecation, so that we're able to attain this objective. Like I said, India 5 years ago were 34%. Only 34% of their population had access to sanitation. Today is 99.9%. Within 5 years, they have moved between 550 to 700 million people out of the practice of open defecation. They have just a few spots within the urban centers, but the entire rural India is 100% open defecation free in 5 years. In 5 years, they've committed $20 billion and built over 90 million toilets. In Nigeria, we're not saying government must do all this. We're not saying government will be the one that is going to be building toilets for people in their households. But we'll support public toilet, we'll support private sector involvement. We want to mobilize the entire country so that everybody understands that sanitation and the need to keep Nigeria open defecation free is everybody's business. It's not just the business for government, it's for everybody. We see so many filling stations. Your Excellency, a month ago I went to Katsina for a wedding, and from Multara roundabout in Kano, I was so bored, I started counting the filling stations on the road up to Katsina. I counted 105, new and upcoming and old ones. And they have these humongous buildings. Why can't they build toilets? Why can't they help to build classrooms for people? Or why can't they provide furniture? They are spending too much money on this, and some of these filling stations for 1 month, they were not even selling the petrol. So we need to re-educate people. That's why we need to mobilize everybody to be able to fight this culture of open defecation. We want to mobilize students, children, we want to mobilize women, we want to mobilize even Nollywood and the media across the country. But we know there are vulnerable people, those that are poor, but we can't leave them behind. And those kind of ones that government can step in to support. But government should also encourage private sector. There is money to be made in building a toilet and a bathroom. People can earn a living out of it. So those are the kind of things we want. We are hoping that you will support us in this endeavor. This is one gold medal that Nigeria doesn't want to have, because once India quits, we are #1 in the world. And they're just at the brink of quitting. In fact, they almost declared themselves open defecation free on 2nd October. It's just for those few glitches. But they were happy that they were able to declare that the entire rural India is 100% open defecation free. And this is a milestone. And out of that sanitation, they've created a $7 billion economy on sanitation. from people, masons that are building toilets, to those that are selling the toilet parts, people selling pipes, people selling soap, and so on and so forth, and disinfectants. So we can do the same. I think with 47 million people, with the political will, Your Excellency, we can do it. And that's why the President demonstrated that political will. And I can tell you, all over the world, wherever we go today, I was at the United Nations General Assembly, I was at the World Water Week in Stockholm. We are being celebrated because by the international community. And they are ready to support in any way we can. All they were waiting for is to see that leadership. So we're providing that leadership. We've got the leadership at national level. We need your support at the state level, because if the states don't key in and trickle it down to the local governments, will not be able to achieve it. I'm proud to say that in my state now, we have 4 local governments that are open defecation free, but I'm not sure there's one in Katsina. That is not to slight you, Excellency, it's just to prime you, because now some states are in competition. Yesterday, so that he can be number 1. So please, we would like you to join that spirit of competition to ensure that we go, we take this to the next level. So far, only 14 local governments in Nigeria are open defecation free. Only 14. But the good news is that we have over 20,000 communities that are open defecation free across the country. But we also have serious challenges. A lot of medical institutions and schools don't have these toilet facilities. And girls especially, some girls don't go to school during their menstrual cycles because there is no facility for them to take care of their personal hygiene. And when we're talking about education, and you know the statistics in our own region, and this is something that we must really take very, very seriously. So I thank you, Your Excellency, for allowing me to hijack your program to address this issue. And I'm confident that you'll give us all the necessary support. If you'd like to make further comments, I can provide the microphone. Else, otherwise I would like to hand over some documents to you, including, I hope the statistics for Katsina here? Yeah, okay.
The people and together with, so that at least you have spoken to the right people. Ruasa, and I think it was.
Thank you, Excellency. So I have the statistics in health institutions and what Katsina State is position relative to Northwest and what it's doing in absolute terms. This has to do with your Excellency, I have the honor to present you this National Action Plan for Revitalization of the Wash Sector, which was the document launched by the President on November 8th last year. We also have the more detailed, the statistics in general all across the country, which was where we extracted information from you. This is the summary, and this is the main document. Then, Your Excellency, we have the national roadmap making Nigeria open defecation free by 2025. And I know the Latinos wear a t-shirt, but this is our new, before we go to that, I think we need to inform you that we have launched, this is the new campaign. This sticker is not complete. I've not seen used Nigeria. You just use the toilet. There's a Clean Nigeria, use the toilet. Something is missing on this sticker, but it's something we can use. No, it's not the one. Where is Mrs. Opara? It's Clean Nigeria, use the toilet. Oh, yes. Excellency, this is defective. So this is the new campaign that is going to be launched from the 19th of November. And I formally invite you, but a letter will come to that effect. I think you will hold it for opportunity. Yes, that you are an ambassador now for this t-shirt is part of it. The campaign, I will just put it on the side box. Other minor features of summaries. This will be very useful to read the character of this. Excellency, we really hope you will key into this campaign and so that we can create Nigeria open education field even before 2025. I think it is doable, even with the challenges you are facing, which we really, really appreciate. We hope that you'll be able to do that.
I think for us it's something that going to be not very difficult, because having come from a rural community, a rural setting, I know every house has a hand-dug toilet. I think our biggest problems are the marketplaces, motor parks, and we have since 2015 provided toilets in all our primary and secondary schools.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and thank you for coming. And we look forward to see you on the 19th of November, inshallah.
Please put your hands together. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Group photograph downstairs, please.